I would say before sobriety, God was a convenience, right? He was distant in my mind. Today, I rely heavily on God. He's in my daily life. I can't do it without him. The old saying that I've been hearing for years, ever since I have gotten sober, is I can't, he can, I think I'll let him. And I try to live by that on a daily basis. One thing that's I'm not perfect, right? I still continue to make mistakes. I'm a father. I'm blessed to be a father. The only thing I have to stay consistent at and perfect at is being open and honest with God and asking for forgiveness and not picking up a drink. My furthest point from God, I let alcohol and drugs take over my life. And when you are using drugs and alcohol addictively, you are really isolating yourself. And so I kind of shut myself off from the faith that I had known. At the time, I didn't think it was a good thing, or I wasn't seeing the value in it. But when I was born and raised in a traditional Irish Catholic family, I mean, I grew up in an area where it wasn't what neighborhood do you live in, it's what parish do you belong to. I was the kid going in the back, grabbing the bulletin and going back home. And looking back on that journey as now an adult, I'm glad my parents gave me the foundation, because it really has stuck through me. Now, don't get me wrong, I went through the ups and downs of life with my addiction and tough times, but it was always there. I am more sincere with God today than I was back doing my foxhole prayers, the convenience versus the daily routine. And it's, when I was living in a halfway house in Wilmington, Delaware, which is where I got sober. Wonderful facility, and I remember they, in order to learn how to get on my knees and say my prayers in the morning, I had to put my shoes underneath the bed, like halfway under the bed, so it forced me to get on my knees. But that's the little stuff. I mean, I had to be retrained. I had stopped growing up when I started using drugs and alcohol. My maturity level had stopped. So I was literally starting over at 29 years of age. My dad was always there for me. He was always there for my brothers as well, and my mom. But my dad always showed up, always, loved us unconditionally. He had his issues with his drinking, but when he got sober, and unfortunately he wasn't sober long enough to enjoy life. He died at 65, and he got sober at 58. So it was later in life, but my dad was my role model. I mean, he was a Eucharistic minister. He was heavily involved at church. And I hope today that I'm able to be the same dad my dad was to me, to my kids. Being a parent, my view of God, my opinion, my understanding of God before fatherhood versus after fatherhood it's mind-blowing. I had a good relationship with God. Obviously, I had some sobriety under my belt. I was getting deeper and deeper in my faith. But having a child, I don't love my children because they're perfect. I love my children because they're mine. And no mistake that they could ever make would ever change that. And that's the love that my dad had for me. And that's the love that I know God has for me and for everybody. And so it's really changed my perspective on parenting. It's taught me a lot about patience, grace, unconditional love. Again, not perfect at it, but man, do I have a better understanding of it. And my relationship with God, who has also helped me strive to be a better parent. It's a daily process.